Hi everyone, it's new tool day in the shop. Before I tell you what it is, basically I've wanted one of these for donkey's years. I've had a lot of experience around similar things, and a lot of the fabrication that I've been doing has it's been very time consuming, and I'm hoping that this bit of kit is going to help me speed that up and broaden my capabilities. So that might give you a little bit of a clue. So yeah, let's open it up and see what we've got in the box. Do love a new tool. So my background is engineering. I started off as a mechanical fitter on trucks and plant machinery. Then after a few years I got into the nuclear industry in the maintenance department, which I spent many years, worked on pumps, motors, steam turbines, nuclear reactors, generators, all sorts. And I was lucky there that we had a big machine shop, and I learned a lot of my skills in there. My family have always been engineers as well, so learned a lot from them. So yeah, as well as being an interest and my job at the time, it's also been my passion as a hobby. So I taught myself to machine, had help and guidance along the way from my colleagues when I was at work. Also taught myself to weld and things like that, and that's where this comes along. So been making bumpers etc for quite a while now, and I've always used silver solder. It's great, I love working with it, but the downside is you can't tack anything. So if you wanted to mock something up, I can't do that. I've got to make it, I've got to stick it together, because with silver solder, once you solder, that's it. So had my eye on I'm going to tell you what it is now. It's a TIG welder for a long time. I'm in an R-in for quite a while, and then just recently I've done a few jobs for people, and I've put the money aside, and that's what's paid for this. And I'm hoping that as my skills develop, I'll be able to make more things, better things. You can see where this is going. So I was looking at one on Amazon for quite a while, but you got just the machine, you didn't get any extras with it. Then you obviously got to buy regulators, gas, etc. Reviews were okay, a little bit mixed, some of them, but most of them were okay. And looking through lots of these sort of forums etc, one brand that kept coming up is they're called Rtech. So they're in the UK. Excuse me, I've got COVID at the moment, so I'm feeling a bit rough. They're in the UK. Obviously I had a few questions, so I called them up, asked them the questions. They were very helpful, and lo and behold, the following day I've got the machine here. So I've gone for, I'm not going to say they're low end, I'm going to say they're introductory TIG welder, because also comparing this to the Amazon ones, you get so many more functions on this one than you do from the Amazon ones, which again is obviously a plus, and I don't mind paying for that. So some might say I've paid a bit extra, but at the end of the day you get a 3-year warranty with a UK company that are on the end of the telephone if you need them. The quality, from what I've seen, well, obviously not opened it yet, but from what I've seen so far with the company etc has been fantastic. So in my opinion, it was worth paying the little bit extra. So a few other little bits that I got with it, just to help me out. So I got a nice set of TIG welding leather gloves. Now, as with all welding, it gives off a very intense ultraviolet light, which is, if anybody's ever had sunburn, imagine that 1,000 times stronger. If you don't cover up, you will end up with sunburn and ultimately skin cancer. So PPE is a must. So I got a nice set of TIG welding gloves. They're lovely and thin, so dexterity is very good, but they've got this nice gauntlet on it as well, so that should keep my sleeves and my arms from burning. Got a box here with all the bits and bobs, which I'll open that in a minute once I've got the actual main machine out. I'm struggling here. So well packed. There we go. Right. Let me put that to one side for a minute. Get the actual machine out. There we go. There's two variants of this introductory model. One is the, what I'll say, the analog version, because this has knobs on the front, and you see the digital version has lots of press buttons on the front. Now, as well as being £50 cheaper, I like the idea of the dials, because I can just reach over and twiddle it. I haven't got to go into any menus or anything like that to make any adjustments. So there it is. It's not a very big machine, physical size, I'd say. Let's have a quick measure. So front to back, 40 centimetres, 17 centimetres wide, and 30 centimetres deep. So, you know, for people like me with a little home shop, it's ideal. You've got your connectors here for your electrodes. Does have a capability for a foot pedal as well, which I know a lot of people like, but I'm not going to go that route at the moment. I want to, you know, see how I get on and then slowly upgrade things. And then your gas outlet, which is a quick release. On the top, it's got a lot of information about your cycle, duty cycle, which is how long you can run it and then how long you have to leave it to rest for it to cool. But I'm not going to be running it for any length of time really, so I'm not too worried about that. And then on the back, you've got a ground, so you can ground it to a workbench or to your power outlet, your gas inlet, and your power switch. So very, very straightforward there. And comes with this nice carry strap. It's one of those sets that probably a lot of people got in the back of their van for doing, you know, on-site stuff. So very, very versatile. So a bit more of a closer look there. I'll just show you the controls, and I'm not an expert. I can only tell you from what I've read so far. So, you know, those of you that are professional welders, please don't knock me for this. I'm still learning. So it does TIG, and it also does stick welding, which they call MMA. And settings here for TIG are your amps. Downslope, I believe, is from when you finish welding to when it stops inputting power. You can have an abrupt stop, or you can have it what they call a downslope. so it slowly pulses away. Upslope, which again is when you start, so when you strike the arc, it will come on, it will give it full current straight away, or it will slowly introduce it. And pre and post flow, which are for your gas. So if you want the gas to start before you weld, so you purge the air or the oxygen away from the weld, that's pre starting welding, and post flow is after. And again, from what I've read, for mild steel you want sort of 2 or 3 seconds post flow, and for stainless steel you want a lot more. I need to read into why that is, but that's what I've sort of gathered from now. And these are settings that the Amazon ones didn't seem to have. So when I said, you know, you get a lot more functionality on here, this is the sort of thing which you would find on a higher end machine. This one also does pulse welding. So normal welding, you just do one continual line, the power is consistent all the way throughout. Pulse welding is, it allows you to, it's almost like doing lots of spot welds joined together. So it will heat, cool, heat, cool, heat, cool, heat, cool. And the idea is that you get your pull, but what it's doing is not introducing quite so much heat into the material. So some people prefer to do that all the time. Some people use it for different functions or different materials. But again, something for me to play with. So you've got 4T and 2T. So difference between the two is on your torch, there's a button. So you either press the button and hold it to strike the arc, or you press the button, let go, it strikes, and then you press it again and then it stops. So that's the difference between 2T and 4T. Again, like I said, MMA is manual metal arc, I believe, which is stick welding, and then TIG, which is tungsten inert gas, I think that's right, for TIG welding. So that's just 2 selections on there. And then this is for TIG. You've got lift arc or high frequency. So the difference between these two is lift arc, you touch the electrode onto the material, and then as you lift away it creates an arc. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you can wear the electrodes out quicker. And also for what I want to do, which is a lot of tacking stuff, I don't want to be putting weight on what I'm, you know, if I set something up in a jig, I don't want to be leaning on it to then weld it. And high frequency is, as long as I'm close enough, the arc will jump from the torch to the work, and there's no contact, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So it does run from a 13 amp socket, which is perfect for me at home. It doesn't come with a plug, because you could put it into a blue light industrial type plug. I've ordered just a heavy duty 13 amp plug just to run it from, or you could put it into a fused spur, no doubt. So that's one bit I've got to do. I've ordered a couple of spare tungstens, because no doubt I'm going to go through those. I ordered a, what's that, flow meter. Got a feeling they might have sent me 2 of those. But so I've got a flow meter, which it does come with a regulator, but the regulator doesn't give you an accurate flow rate. It just gives you a delivery rate. So the flow rate will actually tell me what I'm using through the torch, so it gives me better control. So yeah, I think for some reason I've got 2 of those, not sure why. Regulator for the cylinder, so it gives me contents of the cylinder, and also whatever this is delivering in cubic feet an hour, litres a minute. Whereas like I said, the flow meter will give me a much better accurate reading, and at the end of the day it's going to save me money because I'm not going to be using so much gas, because I won't be delivering gas that I don't need. A couple of different size lenses. These were ones that were recommended, so these are number 5. Again, reading through the internet, I believe the number relates to how many eighths of an inch the hole is. But looking at this, see that isn't 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch, about 16 mil. So not quite sure with that. Let's do that last. You get the gas hose to go from the back of the machine to the regulator for the delivery of the gas. I've got a couple of different lens attachments for the TIG torch, just again through recommendation from people in groups that I've joined. You get a fairly standard electrode clip for arc welding. Personally, I like the ones where you screw the head up. Just again, what I've used in the past and personal preference, but you know, for the amount of times that I'll ever do arc welding on it, I'm sure it'll be fine. Pretty standard earth clamp. So this is obviously for connecting to your work face or your workpiece. We've got a gas lens adapter there because I've got a different size to what the original kit comes with, so I needed that. You do get a little kit with it. Comes with a couple of tungstens and the collets for holding it, and a couple of bits for your torch. And this is what I was saying, the Amazon one didn't come with any of this stuff, so I had to buy the flow meter, I had to buy these for the lenses, but you get enough to get you going. If you wanted to do it as a one-off purchase and get you going, the only thing you've really got to buy extra is gas and a filler rod. So and then you get the torch itself, which, you know, again, you'd think it would be quite a basic torch, but actually it's a very nice bit of kit. So let's open that up and have a look. So this is the supplied TIG torch. They call it a flexi torch. It's got a flexi joint here at the base, so that you know you're not constantly fighting the cable. And it's also got a flexible head on it. So if you wanted to, you know, some people might prefer to tip it forward or back, depending on your wrist position or your workpiece. Nice soft touch button on the back, which is obviously what strikes your arc. Yeah, and you know, the actual torch itself is quite nice and light, so that's good. And then these are your connectors. So this is the connector for the button, so that will obviously tell the machine to strike or not strike. And then you've got your electrode and your gas. So yeah, that's the supplied torch. I believe it's a WP17 type fitting. It's called a TIG17 type torch. So that's the brand. And you know, I have done a little bit of TIG in the past, but very, very small amount. So you kind of hold it almost like you're holding a pen, and then you would use it like this. It gives you a good control over it. So that's it. That's the kit. I'm really glad with what I've bought. I think all in, I think it was about £570. You know, some people might say it's loads of money. To me, yeah, obviously I've been saving up for it, but that's what I like to do. I like to do jobs, save a bit of money, spend it on tools. That's my poison. I don't smoke, I don't really drink, so I spend it on tools, and I'm going to get a lot of time and a lot of pleasure out of this, making stuff for myself, making stuff for other people. So yeah, let's get it put into the shop, and when the gas arrives, we'll start playing with it. Thanks a lot, everyone, and hope you find that unboxing useful.